We hear the news about the Russian oil price cap that the West is trying to impose. Let's take a look at this. Yes, this is a BBC article. Ukraine war, price cap on Russian oil will hit Putin immediately, says the US. This is about an hour ago, this article. Yeah. The cap, approved by Western allies on Friday, is aimed at stopping countries paying more than $60 per barrel of seaborne Russian crude oil. This measure will come into force on Monday, day after tomorrow, which it will intensify Western pressure on Russia over the invasion. Yes, that's what's happening. Now, what else do we hear? This is also an article which came out, I think, yesterday. India to keep purchasing Russian oil after sanctions go into effect. Yes, India has said that it would continue to purchase Russian crude oil even after the embargo and price cap go into effect on December 5. An official in the Indian Oil Ministry said on Friday. So India will keep on importing discounted Russian oil. It's good for Indian prices of essentials and commodities, etc. in India. Yeah. Uh, so that's what India has said. The Indian Oil Ministry official said that the sanctions placed on Russian oil, specifically on Western shipping and insurance services, won't apply to India because India intends to use non-Western services to transport seaborne Russian crude oil into India. We are seeing a bifurcation of the world order here. Russian price cap not to affect Indian oil imports. Once again, India says the same things. So, yeah, that's what we hear. We will continue to buy oil from wherever we need to buy, including Russia. India has been assured by global oil suppliers there will be no disruption in supplies. So yeah, that's what's happening. That's what India is saying. So there's a price cap, but India is not going to adhere to the price cap. What is this? Okay, this we'll talk about later. So what's happening? So the Americans, the West, which means NATO, it means America, has decided to impose an artificial cap on the price of Russian oil, and the highest price you can pay is $60 per barrel. And what also you have to understand is that they will deny shipping of this Russian oil to nations that do not comply with this price cap, because many of the oil tankers, so majority of the oil tankers that ferry oil worldwide, they belong to EU nations or NATO nations, or to their various American, what I would call, vassal states. Yeah, so they will deny shipping to nations that will not comply with the price cap, and they will deny insurance, for instance, to tankers that are delivering Russian oil to nations that do not comply with the price cap. The insurance, you see, the oil tankers need insurance, and most insurance companies are also located in EU nations and NATO nations and in the UK. Yeah, the UK obviously is a NATO nation, right? And there are other services also that are required, like brokering and protection and indemnity and flagging and whatnot. These are all technical terms. You can look it up if you're interested. So most of these services are provided by Western nations or nations that are allied or aligned with the West. Yes. So if all these services are denied, then this is going to affect the two major nations that are importing in large quantities of Russian oil, which are India and China. So India has said clearly it intends to use non-Western services to transport Russian oil to India, which means that India will have to have this oil transported by tankers, within tankers that are owned by non-Western nations, and the other services like brokering and insurance and all those things will also have to be acquired from providers that are non-Western in nature. The thing is here, what we have to understand here: if 20 years ago India had invested in a large fleet of oil tankers, then none of this would have happened, right? So it's because I don't think India has any significant number of oil tankers at all, and that is, see, this is something that can hit you very badly when such a situation arises. So any major nation needs to be self-reliant and self-sufficient in these things. You should have your own oil tankers. You should not depend on third parties and other nations. You should have your own security providers for these oil tankers. You should have a major navy of your own. That why do you think all major nations, superpowers and major powers, great powers, have large militaries to safeguard their uh, their supply lines, supply chains, and all those things. So these are things that India will need to start investing in if India wants to rise and become a genuinely great power. Yeah. So as of now, this is the situation. India will not comply with the US imposed price cap on Russian oil. India will continue to import Russian oil at a discounted rate. It's going to continue. Now, what are going to be the repercussions of that? We will have to see. The Indian Foreign Minister Dr. Jaishankar has said that in the past India has quietly complied with the Western the West the US stand in the Western stand on Pakistan. Yes, the Americans and the West have always prioritized their interests over India's interests. Yeah, and India has quietly, you know, tolerated that. So now it is time for the West to tolerate India putting its own national interest first in a way that doesn't hurt the West in any significant way, in any way at all, actually. It doesn't hurt the West. So, anyway, this is the situation right now. There is this new oil price cap that the West has imposed, and India is not going to abide by it, and neither, obviously, is China.